ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى رسول الله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. As we mentioned, Ikhwani, after the 7th day of Shawwal this year, we were going to start our new lessons. We would resume the Sharh al-Sunnah by Al-Imam al-Barbahari, that tremendous, important, significant book of the Minhaj al-Salafi, the Aqidah of the Muslim, the Aqidah of Ahl al-Sunnati wal-Jama'ah, the Firqat al-Najiyah, that every Muslim lady, every Muslim man who concerns himself with trying to practice Islam correctly and Kamal is for Allah Azza wa Jal, we should study the book. So we've been studying, we're more than halfway through the book. As we mentioned, we'll continue to do that book on Sunday. Bi-idhnillah. And that time we announced that on Tuesday, for about 3 or 4 classes or whatever it takes, on Tuesday, like today, we'll deal with how Ahl Sunnah looks at the issue of making salat behind the people of al-ahwa wal-bid'ah. What is the ruling of a person of the Sunnah praying behind people who are on deviation? This issue is an important issue because there's so much deviation going on today. We have relatives left, right, and center. Situations are taking place, Salatul Janazah, the 5 prayers, Jummah. Other than that, we don't give these types of lessons to be of the people who plant seeds and cultivate people on at-tafarruq and ikhtilaf and hatred towards Muslims. No. Unfortunately, some people, their dawah is the dawah of hatred. Muslims hating each other. And that's what their dawah is. Don't give salams to that one. Don't pray with that one. Don't visit that one. He's this, he's that. But at the same time, we have a religious responsibility because it is Islam. It is the Sunnah that we take positions against individuals, whether they're Muslims or not Muslims. But we have to take those positions based upon al-bayyina, based upon al-basira. As the Prophet ﷺ was commanded by Allah in the Quran when he said, قُلْ هذا السبيل أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني. Say, this is my way. I call to Allah with basira, with knowledge. With knowledge. So we give this class, and we want to give this class so that we'll know what we're doing. We'll worship Allah correctly. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَعْبُدُ اللَّهِ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. There are those people who they worship Allah and they don't know what they're doing. We want to worship Allah with basira. We want to fulfill the conditions of ibadah. Worshiping Allah with ikhlas and worshiping Allah correctly. Worshiping Allah with ikhlas and worshiping Allah correctly. So on Tuesday, we mentioned on the 7th of Shawwal that we would do a few classes because there are details in this issue. It's not as some people have you to believe, don't pray behind anyone who's not from Ahl Sunnah just like that. Nor is it like the other extreme, pray behind everyone as long as he says La ilaha illallah. There are details in this issue that come to us from the book of Allah, come to us from the authentic Sunnah, come to us from the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, come to us from the ulama of the Salaf of this ummah. And we're going to deal with that inshallah. But we're not going to start it today, as we mentioned. We're not going to start today because there is a program that's going on right now at Hardtop Masjid, the branch of Ahl al-Hadith, Hardtop Masjid, where we have some shayukh who came from Al Medina. So they're giving some lectures over there. So we're not going to start because many of our students are over there right now, especially the students who write and the students who are serious. So they requested for me not to start the class today. With that being the case, I still think we should take some benefit since so many of you are here still on Tuesday after Salat al-Isha, and I want to just remind you of something as Allah Ta'ala has commanded in the Quran, فَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَ تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Remind the people, for verily the remembrance, it benefits those people who have Iman. And what I'm going to remind you about are two issues that you already know. Just want to extract from these two issues something that I want to bring to your attention. Two issues that come to us from the seerah of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from his life. Allah Azza wa Jalla, as you all know, said about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ لِمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ وَالْيَوْمَ الْآخِرِ وَذَكَرَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا. You have in Rasulillah a perfect example. He's a perfect example for the one who remembers Allah and the one who believes in Yawm al-Akhir and he thinks of Allah a lot. You want to know how to be a perfect specimen of a human being? Then look at the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And as you all know, nothing new. Our mother Aisha radiyallahu anha, in the tafsir of the ayat of the Quran in Surah Al-Najm, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ, you Muhammad are on a high level of character. You all know what she said in the tafsir of this ayah. She said his khuluq was the Quran. His behavior was the Quran. The Nabi used to live, as you all know, in the Meccan time and in the period of Medina, and he used to deal with those enemies of Islam, non-Muslims, in the best way. And he used to deal with his companions in the best way. They used to do all kinds of things to him. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam would walk amongst the people, and the kuffar of Quraysh would point and say, there he is, watch out for him, there he is. They used to ridicule him, they used to swear at him, they used to curse at him, they used to make poetry, they used to beat his companions up, they would physically assault him, and yet he has sabr. And not only did he have sabr, but he made his companions have sabr as well. One of the best ways that the dawah will spread, especially to non-Muslims, is as a result of the way the Muslims behave. All of us have to be reminded of this. If we want to teach our children, if we want to teach the people, if we want to be examples, then one of the most effective ways is to be an example. The Nabi wanted all of his companions sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be a Rasul in his own right. بَلِّغُوا عَنِّي وَلَوْ آيَةٍ. Tell the people about me even if it's an ayat. Your neighbor, your wife, your children, your relatives, everybody. You don't have to do the khutbah. Just let the people know about me in the way that you act. Be fair, be just, be an individual who is forbearing. And this is how he was before he was sent as a Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So there are some people that Allah Ta'ala has just given them akhlaq. They're easygoing, they're quiet, they're patient, they're just like that. And then there are others, and they can be the vast majority of people, Allahu Alam. They're with the team that I'm on, the people who have to work on their character. Because he had jahiliyyah, because he has a short temper, because he's stingy, because he's selfish, because he's self-centered, because he's arrogant, because of whatever, he has to keep making jihad against himself. We have a religious obligation to do that. The Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, إِنَّمَا الْعِلْمُ بِالتَّعَلُّمْ وَإِنَّمَا الْحِلْمُ بِالتَّحَلُّمْ. Knowledge comes as a result of going out to get it, making an effort, and becoming nice and easy and gentle comes as a result of developing it. Not everybody is halim. The man is shadid. Generally, he's rough and tough, but he can change that and he can break that if he makes jihad against himself. And that's what the Nabi taught us in the religion that he brought. So there are two issues I want to bring to your attention as a reminder in these few minutes, inshallah ta'ala. Two issues that you all know about, benefits that come from his seerah. One issue that I want to share with you is from his dawah and from the benefits of his dawah and his history is the fact that the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam focused upon the brotherhood of al-Islam. He focused upon the brotherhood of al-Islam. And he made it a religious obligation for every Muslim here to see his Muslim brother, irregardless of his color, his ethnic background, his political persuasion. It's a religious obligation to be a brother to your Muslim brother. Don't make ghiba, don't steal his money, don't do things that are haram. Love for him what you love for yourself. You're not a true believer until you do that. لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه من الخير. None of you truly believes, true complete iman. No matter how much you think you're religious, none of you truly believes until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. I want you to give me the benefit of the doubt. I want you to be gentle with me. I want you to treat me a certain way, so I have to do the same way to you. I have to do the same way in regards to my mu'amala with you. So the Nabi put a lot of emphasis on this issue in many ways. One way I'm going to bring to your attention that you already know, and we want to extract from this a benefit, is that he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after making hijrah from Mecca to Al-Medina, he made the mu'akha between the Muhajirin and the Ansar. He made the man who was from the Muhajirin of Mecca the brother to the man who was from the Ansar. So the Meccan became the brother of the man from Medina. Sometimes they lived together and they shared the same house. If one of them died after it was designated, this is your brother and this is your brother, if one of them died, he inherited from him at the beginning of Islam. He was responsible for the rest of his family and his property and so forth and so on. That was the beginning. During this day and time, we won't be able to practice this thing. During this day and time, most people won't be able to practice what Abu Bakr, Uthman, Umar, Ali, and those people were upon. And one example that I bring to your attention is the example that you all know about. You all know about the companion Abdurrahman ibn Auf, who's one of the 10 people promised Jannah. Abdurrahman ibn Auf. He was a very rich man. He left Mecca and gave up all of his wealth, and he came to Medina. The Prophet made him the brother, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of Sa'd ibn Rabi'. May Allah be pleased with all of the companions. And you all know the story of Sa'd ibn Rabi' coming to Abdurrahman ibn Auf, saying to him, I've been blessed with a lot of wealth. I have a lot of money. I'm going to split my money in half and give you half of my wealth. I only have $2,000, 2,000 pounds saved up, that's all. I find it very difficult to give a man 1,000 pounds. Has to be some extraordinary circumstances. He said, I'm going to give you half of my wealth. You didn't work for it? Just because you're my brother, I'm going to give you half. Not even my biological brother. I'm going to give you half of my wealth. And I have 2 wives. You look at either one. You look at the one that pleases you the most. How tall, how short, how light, how whatever. You look at one and you make the decision, I'll divorce her for you. Now I ask you, do you know of this happening in the dunya with someone? He wouldn't do that with his biological brother. He doesn't even speak to his biological brother. He doesn't give him salams. He doesn't talk to his sister. Doesn't talk to his mother or his father. This was a man who doesn't share anything with him except the deen. That's it. Abdurrahman ibn Auf, he said, no, and may Allah bless your wealth and bless you and your family. Just show me where the marketplace is. He showed him where the marketplace was. He went to the marketplace and he started to do business. He had 100 dirhams. 100 dirhams. What did he do? He went and he bought a camel for 100 dirham and he sold it for 100. He bought another one for 100 and he sold it for 100. He bought another 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100 until he accumulated a lot of wealth. He accumulated a lot of wealth by buying a camel for 100 and selling it for 100. Somebody tell me, how did he develop wealth? And he was buying for 100, selling for 100. Does anybody know? There was barakah in the tijara. That's one way, but that's not it. Blessings. Barakah means Allah puts in something that's a little, He extends it. There's barakah when there are a lot of hands in the food. So food that's enough for 3 is enough for 4. Food that's enough for 5 is enough for 6. Don't be of the people like the Europeans and people kuffar where they say, oh, it's only one burger, one sandwich, it's only enough for me. If it's enough for you, it's enough for another person. And if it's enough for you and another person, it's enough for 3. And Allah puts the barakah in that. And He makes you full with what He gave you in a little bit. How and why did Abdurrahman ibn Auf buy a camel for 100? He sold it for 100 and he made a profit. How, why, somebody tell me. Because he what? He was renting the camel? La. Anybody else? My brother right there, my brother. Tfaddal. The brother Wasim said it had something to do with the hizam, the bridle, and that's what happened. He would buy a camel and he would purchase it with the bridle in its mouth. And then when he sold it, he wouldn't sell it with the bridle. So he would buy a camel with the bridle, sell it without. Buy it with, sell it without. Buy it with, sell it without. Until he accumulated a lot of the bridles and then he sold those and made money from that. Once he started making money from that, he developed his money. That's from the barakah, as the brother said. And he became rich. First benefit that we want to bring to your attention about this issue, especially to the shabab, especially to the youngsters. Abdurrahman ibn Auf, radiyallahu anhu, has taught us a lesson, you young brothers, in this country where there is a culture of being lazy. Abdurrahman ibn Auf, radiyallahu anhu, showed young people and Muslims something, and that is, if someone came to you and said, hey young man, go and get a job, go and work, do something, get up off of your backside and go and earn. Even if you're not earning a lot, go and get a job, do something. The young man today will say, oh, I need a lot of money, I need the Ra's al-Mal, I need so much money in order to go into business. And once I get 100,000 pounds, I'll make a business. La, Abdurrahman ibn Auf didn't do that. He had 100 dirhams. 100 dirhams. And Allah Ta'ala put the barakah. He had al-i'timad on Allah, relied on Allah, had tawakkul on Allah. He was wafiq bi nafsihi. He knew himself. Give me an opportunity, I'm going to make it happen. Insha'Allah. And again, as we mentioned before, Akhwani, with the correct aqidah, we have to know the theories of our minhaj and our deen, the aqidah of al-Islam. You have to know theoretically, academically, what's going on. Allah is over His arsh. Allah has hands that befits His majesty. Allah comes down. And all of these issues we have to know. But we have to know the practicality of them as well. When the person knows Allah, he knows himself. Nobody can tell him, you cannot become rich. You cannot become successful. You're going to forever be a bum. No one can tell him that, and he's going to listen to that. He's going to say, Allah Azza wa Jalla is a razaq, dhul quwwat al-mateen. Allah gives the rizq, not you, not the government, not this, not that. If Allah doesn't want it to happen, it's not going to happen. You all know, Ikhwani, I don't want to make this personal, but I have to share this with someone. For the day of the Eid, I couldn't pray with the people because I pulled both of my hamstrings, especially the right one. Couldn't even make ruku'. So I prayed sitting down. Zakat Allah, the Hafiz, led the Salat, and then after that, I did the Khutbatul Jum'ah. The other day, I think it was Sunday, I was going to give a lecture, and I had my book and an important paper on my book. I put it on top of a car. The wind blew it, and I became well, alhamdulillah, but I still had the pain. The hard wind, there was some hurricane here in the UK. The wind came, like it was today, and my important papers started running down the street. I had to run after the papers with my hamstring that had gotten well. But when I started running down the street, I re-injured myself again. I was trying to be as careful as I possibly could, but Allah Azza wa Jal showed me in that issue, you're da'if. If I would have just watched that paper go down the street, it would have been a big problem concerning my children's passport. It would have been a big problem. A big problem. And I saw to myself, as I was running down the street, the paper kept turning over and I was missing it, looking like a fool in the street. That's how I felt until I stepped on the paper and I caught it. And I looked like a clown. I felt like embarrassed. I felt embarrassed. So what was the point? What was the lesson for that? What was the lesson for me? The lesson for me was, you're da'if. If Allah wanted to make the paper go into the sewer and the gutter and the water, fly all the way down the street, I could not bring that paper back. As Allah mentioned in the Quran, Ya ayyuhan nas, duriba lakum mathalun fastami'u lahu. إن الذين تدعون من دون الله لا يخلقوا ذبابا لن يخلقوا ذبابا ولو اجتمعوا له وانسلب منه ذباب شيء لا يستنقذوه منه ضعف الطالب والمطلوب. O you who believe, O mankind, listen. A similar tool has been given to you, so listen to it. Those people who you worship other than Allah, the magnificent sun, the moon, the money, these idols, power, all of these things, Isa ibn Maryam, all of these things that you worship along with Allah, they cannot create a fly. Even if they all came together to create that fly, never will they be able to do it. The fly is, and if the fly took something from them, they would never be able to get it back from the fly. Never. The fly is weak, and those who are worshiping the fly is weak. So the point here is, you young brothers, in our religion, the best hand is the hand that is on top and is given. Let us not fall into this issue of just sitting back, taking from the government, taking from the government, taking from the government, and not working. Abdurrahman ibn Auf, he didn't make a negative istighlal, negative advantage. He didn't take negative advantage of his brother, Sa'd ibn Rabi', and say, yeah, give me the money. Yeah, give me this, give me that. He wanted to rely on himself. That's the first point I want to bring to the attention of you young brothers. Second point, Khwani, from the seerah of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, again, is something that you know. And that is, in the battle of Bani Mustalaq, or the battle of Al-Muraysi' is the other name, when the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam arrived to the place where they were going to have the battle along with the companions, radiyallahu anhum ajma'in wa ardahum, there was a misunderstanding that transpired between two of his companions, like I just mentioned, the Muhajirin and the Ansar. One narration said that one man slapped the other man on the backside, playing with him, joking with him, and he didn't like that. He was offended by that. Another narration said that they were having isdiham. The well was there and they wanted to get some water, and tempers flared. It was hot and tempers flared. So two people got into an argument. One man was from Mecca, the Muhajirin. The other one was from the Ansar. So they became upset. He took his sword out against the brother. And when they both took their swords out, he said to his brother, oh, you Muhajirin, oh, people from Mecca, where I'm from. And they all took their swords out. The other man saw what happened. He said to his brothers, oh, Ansar. They took their swords out. The Prophet heard and saw what transpired between them. He said to them, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ad-da'watul jahiliyyah wa ana bayna adharikum da'uha fa innaha muntina. Do you people make the call of the time of the jahiliyyah, and I'm right here with you? Leave this call because it stinks. How many of you heard that hadith before? Put your hands up if you heard that hadith before. How many of you never heard that hadith before? Put your hand up. Some of you didn't put your hand up for either one. Let's do this again. How many of you heard that hadith before? Put your hand up. How many of you never heard that hadith before? Okay. This is an important hadith that I want you brothers to remember. The man from the Muhajirin, the man from the Ansar. Allah called them Muhajirun in the Quran. Allah called them Ansar in the Quran. The Prophet called them Muhajirin in the Sunnah. The Prophet called them Ansar in the Sunnah. They were human beings and they became upset, two men. And that one called his countrymen, and that one, upon seeing that, called his countrymen, and they were about to engage each other, companions. They were about to fight each other. The Prophet witnessed it, and it was not permissible for anything to happen where he saw it or heard of it, except that he had to correct it. Because if he was quiet about it, you say that that's from the Sunnah. He gave his tacit approval. He was quiet. He said, ad-da'watul jahiliyyah wa ana bayna adharikum. Do you people make the call of jahiliyyah and I'm right here with you? Leave it alone, it stinks. From the benefit that I want to share with you brothers here about this issue right here, it goes to show concerning our brotherhood and concerning our deen. We are people who have to be on the kitab and the sunnah, and we understand the kitab and the sunnah according to the understanding of the salaf of this ummah, the way the companions understood, the way the tabi'een who followed the companions understood, the way the followers of the tabi'een understood following the tabi'een who followed the companions. That's how we have to understand this religion. And based upon that understanding, it is not permissible for us to use these slogans to fight each other and to be divided with each other, even if the slogan that you're using is true. Even if the slogan that you're using is the haqq. Muhajirin is a slogan that's the haqq. Ansar is a slogan that's the haqq. But when they used it the way that they used it, the Prophet described it as the dawah of jahiliyyah. What's going on today with Salafi people? Salafi people are too rough and tough. Salafi people are too easy. The rough and tough people, they cultivate and they call people to hate in other Muslims. Their hatred is for the Muslims. Everyone's a deviant who doesn't understand like them. Yes, there are some Muslims who are deviants. And even those who are deviants, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. You have in the Nabi a good example of how to deal with people, even if he's a deviant. Companions used to say statements that were against Islam. Companions used to do things that were innovations. The people would want to castrate themselves. It's against Islam. People would make shirk from the companions by saying, MashaAllah wa shitta, Ya Rasulullah, is as Allah wanted and you wanted. The rain came down because of this star, that star. They used to swear by their dead grandfathers and fathers. That's shirk. You only have to swear by Allah. You can only swear by Allah. Companions made shirk. But some companions made mistakes at times where there was shirk in it. See, because I have to correct that. If I say the companions made shirk, the mutashaddidun people would take that and go and say Abu Usamah says that the companions were mushrikeen. Do you want me to do that for you? To sit and listen to what you say and then to misconstrue it and then to go to some irresponsible person who is respected by the people and get a ruling for you and he doesn't say your name, you don't say my name, and then I come back and say you this and you that? So some of the companions, they made statements and they did things at times that were incorrect. And they be dealt with it in the best way. So you don't want to be too rough and too tough. You don't want to be too easy neither. The new call, everybody is okay. Everybody is okay. How is it possible for the Salafi person, the Muslim, not to have adab with the Prophet ﷺ? Listen to this. Listen to this. It is not okay for a Muslim to say something like this. Listen, we have to be modern people. We have to be modern, which is true. But then to prove his point, he says, if the Prophet came back right now, Rasulullah would wear a tie. Don't say things like that. Rasulullah would wear a suit. I didn't say a tie or a suit was haram. I didn't say that. You all know my position with the tie and the suit. You all know my position with the tie and the suit. I don't say it's haram, I just say it's the monkey suit, but I don't mean any derogatory statement to the person. Don't be muspil, don't have silk and so forth and so on. The person who says that the Nabi would have wore a tie, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would have gone into the parliament, the Nabi would have been supporting labor, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would have supported the Democrats. This is not having adab with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You're too easy. You're too rough and you're too easy. Everything is okay. Everybody is okay. Everybody is from the sunnah. La ya akhi. Don't be too easy and don't be too rough. Be right in the middle. The siratul mustaqim. So my advice to myself and to you brothers is that we pay attention to this issue of al-ukhuwah. That we are brothers collectively, Somali, Eritrean, India, Afghani, Mirpuri, the brothers from Gambia, wherever you come from, we have to be brothers in our taqwa of Allah, brothers in a tanasuh, advising one another collectively, brothers in being patient with each other, being patient within yourself and helping the other brother to be patient in those issues that he has to deal with, Take it easy, akhi. It's going to be okay. With difficulty, there is ease. I'm here to support you, and so forth and so on. Let us continue to take the lessons that we were developing with ourselves in the month of Ramadan. In the month of Ramadan. So this is what we wanted to share with you. 2 incidents that most of you heard those incidents before. Remember that second incident, because there were quite a number of you who never heard it, but that's the way the religion is. That's how the religion is. The more you learn, the more you expose yourself to different books and different people, the more you'll learn. If you just stay with Abu Usamah and that's it, if you just stay within your madhab and that's it, then your knowledge is going to be deficient. You never know how much your teacher knows until you start listening to other people. You only listen to one person, that's the extent of what you think is in the knowledge of Islam. The knowledge of Islam is like an ocean that has no shore to it. No shore to it. So I have a brother that I'm going to call tonight, inshallah, from America. His name is Mujahid. His name is Hanif. Hanif. He's the son of Joanne. And he's from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Haven't been in contact with him for quite some time. When I was thinking about hurry up, get home, talk to this brother, I thought about this issue, because back where we come from, unfortunately in America, the Dawat al-Salafiyya has become mumazzaqa. Hizbiyun. Salafis are hizbi, hating all the other Muslims and hating each other. If you don't agree with them, then you are mubtadi', you are hizbi, you're not right. So I say to brothers like Mujahid and those other brothers who are there, who these people couldn't come and frighten them into getting on their side, maintain the course and do what Al-Imam Abdurrahman Al-Awza'i said. Al-Awza'i. Al-Imam Al-Awza'i was an Imam of Sham. He had his own madhab. He told the people and he advised his students. Al-Imam Al-Awza'i was from the ulama of the Salaf, from the Atba' al-Tabi'een, not the Sahaba, not the Tabi'een, from the Atba' al-Tabi'een, Abdurrahman Al-Awza'i. He said, giving advice, follow the way of the Salaf, the companions, the Tabi'een, as it relates to him. He's from the third group. First 100 years, companions. Second, Tabi'een. Third, 100 years, Atba' al-Tabi'een. Al-Imam Al-Awza'i said to his people, follow the way of the Salaf, وَإِنْ رَفَضَكَ النَّاسِ. Even if the people reject you, and they don't like you, and they don't support you, follow the way of the truth. Don't become a person who goes over there and just so that the people can like you, you turn the lights off and you start making dhikr. You start saying things and believing things that's not from the religion, just at the expense so people can like you. He said, follow the way of Abu Bakr, Uthman, Ali, Hassan al-Basri, those people, even if the people reject you, even if they reject you, follow that. And do not follow innovation, even if they zakhrafu lak al-qawl, even if they make their kalam nice. Their kalam is nice. Salafiyya this, Salafiyya that. The ulama, the sheikh, the allama, we're with the ulama, the do. Yeah, they make nice kalam. But when we look at the situation and we investigate it, yeah, akhi, you're not being fair. The Salafiyya is fair. Fairness and justice. A Salafiyya is putting things in their proper place. It's hikmah. It's not treating the one who makes a mistake like the one who is an enemy. Salafiyya is not treating the one who makes ta'wil. He makes ta'wil. He thought it was like that. And you treat him as if he's like Fir'aun. And you even call him a dajjal. You call him a kadhab. You call him an enemy to Islam. This is the cultivation that these people are upon, and some of their sheikhs, unfortunately, are cultivating them upon this issue. Even money is involved. So I say to you brothers, my brother Hanif, and the rest of those brothers, Abu Abbad, brother Shadid Muhammad, and other than them, let your niyat be worshiping Allah and pleasing Allah, and don't let your niyat be pleasing the people. Even if they zakhrafu lak al-qawl, make nice kalam, nice slogans. Al-Muhajirin, Al-Ansar. Yeah, that's nice. But the slogan by itself, it doesn't cut the mustard, as they say. What's intended is the application. And all of us are falling short of the mark. and all of us need one another, inshallah, to help one another to assist ourselves to go forward. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. And that's what the companions used to part upon. They would come together, meet each other, greet each other, spend time together, and then when they got up and they would part, they would read this surah. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. هذا وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. No questions, Ikhwani, because I have a torn, what is it again? Hamstring. Assalamu alaikum. أكرمكم الله. شيخ وين أنت؟ أنت سافرت إلى بلد؟